Morning you guys, it's Karen and I'm here to review the new Marine Hyaluronics from the Ordinary, and I kind of bought this just to review on here, although maybe that's just my excuse because I do like to try new things, but I wasn't sure I was going to like it. I'm going to compare it today with the hyaluronic acid and B5 from the Ordinary, because the idea of this was to make something that was lighter and less sticky than the hyaluronic acid. I actually do enjoy the hyaluronic acid. I generally buy this one from the Ordinary because it's got B5 in it, not because it's my favourite formula. I would say my favourite formula of hyaluronic acid is actually the one from Lauder, but I like that this has got B5 in it. They're both £5.90 and it's, you know, the same amount you get in every other Ordinary product, the same bottle. You can see they look similar. You probably wouldn't be able to tell which one was which at this distance, and they are both humectants, as in they both attract water to them. And that's kind of where the similarities end, because the Marine Hyaluronics is not actually a hyaluronic acid. There is no sodium hyaluronate or any hyaluronic acid in this one at all. I think the reason they named it Marine Hyaluronics is because it acts in the same way, the ingredients in it act in the same way as a hyaluronic acid. So for example, in this one, the first ingredient is water, the second is glycerin. So in the Marine Hyaluronics, the second ingredient is glycerin. And remember in my video on glycerin, I said it is a humectant, it draws water to it, and that's exactly what hyaluronic acid does. So this will be a first impressions review on how it feels, you know, if it moisturizes, if it hydrates, because a lot of the ingredients in here are on my list to investigate, and yeah, using them all together, I don't know, it just would be very difficult to do my usual what's the evidence, if you like. So it's more about the feel. There's nothing nasty in the ingredients that I can see, as expected from the Ordinary, so it's down to feel. So that's the similarities, both humectants and hydrators, and both £5.90. And like I said, that's where the similarities end. So let me show you their kind of formula, because like I said, the idea was to have a thinner version or a more easily absorbed version of the hyaluronic acid. So this one is the hyaluronic acid plus B5. So I'm just going to put a drop on my hand and keep it upright for a moment. And then I will put a drop of the Marine Hyaluronics. And then you will see, hopefully you will see. You'll have to watch quickly because I know that one of them will run down my hand. So put my hand at the bottom so you can see that, or one of them will run down quickly. So hopefully you can see there that the Marine Hyaluronics, which is that one, just ran down my hand like water, whereas this one, it is running down, but it's taking its time. This is much more of a silky feel, the hyaluronic acid, the original, whereas the new Marine Hyaluronics is much more of, it just feels like a water. Yeah, it does. It feels like you're putting water on your skin. So that's one of the big differences, is how they feel. The second biggest difference is, of course, that the Marine Hyaluronics is not a hyaluronic acid and the other one is, and the Marine Hyaluronics does not have B5 in it where the other one does. My expectations for the Marine Hyaluronics were quite low, really, because I just thought, you know, if something that's a real lightweight product that easily absorbs, will it feel hydrating enough? You know, although it is a hydrator, will it make my skin feel tight? So I've used it a few times and I have to say it doesn't make my skin feel tight at all. I made sure to use it when I'm in here in my vanity room, taking off my makeup, but not ready to do my whole skincare. So I, you know, take my makeup off, tone my face, and then I would tend to use like a spray or something on my face to stop it feeling tight. And I thought, okay, I'll use this. Then it was, I don't know, half an hour or an hour later before I did my full regime. And normally my skin would be feeling quite uncomfortable by then. And it didn't using this. I have to say it did feel like it didn't feel super moisturized, but it didn't feel tight, I suppose is what I'm saying. So I used it again last night. I've only had it a few days, so as I said, it is just a first impressions review. But I thought I would try it underneath my self tanner. The self tanner that I'm using is the Invisitan by Vita Liberata, and it is a foam, and it's a water foam, so it's one that immediately dries, immediately absorbs. It's a really good tan though. The only problem I had with it was that my skin felt ever so slightly tight when using it, because you're not supposed to use oils or creams before or after. I'm guessing that it would dilute the colour. So I thought, well, let me try this underneath it and see if that does anything, how much it dilutes the colour. And it works really well, I have to say. My skin didn't feel as tight with using the Invisimousse, so I did my cleanse and tone, put this on, and then immediately put on my foaming tan, and I feel like it didn't dilute the colour at all. You may not think I look like I have a tan, but I do. Let me give you a quick flash of the difference in colour. You can see there, that's my true white colour and this is my tanned colour. I don't think it made any difference to the fact that my white lines are not as obvious with other tans, so I was really impressed with it from that point of view as well. But like I said, the main thing was it didn't make my skin feel tight, so it was definitely giving me some hydration. So I am really impressed with it and I will probably use it. The thing that I don't like about it is the very thing I suppose that other people will like. I prefer the feel of the original one because I've said about some other product, and I can't think what it is, but the fact that when you put it on, it just drops down. I find that difficult. I find that tricky to use because if you put it onto your fingers, there's not really much to, it sort of disappears. Again, it sort of absorbs and you can't really rub your fingers together and put it over your face. But if I drop it, say, on my forehead, it just runs and runs off. If I put it on my cheeks, it runs down my neck. And so I'm trying to sort of put my head back and put a drop on and then rub it in before I put my face. You know, I just feel like it's not easy to apply. Let me know if you've got any application techniques for really thin products like that. I guess a good technique would maybe be to add it to a moisturizer, you know, add a few drops and mix them together and use it that way. I have had no issues with any breakouts or anything like that with this. I do have one little lump here where it's actually like a little scab now, and it was definitely, I could feel that it was a reaction to something cosmetic I was using, but I got that before using this, and I feel like it was the sleek foundation that I used, so I stopped using that. And once this is cleared up, all these little, just tiny little lumps under my skin, like I said, one has sort of got a little scab on it. Once that's completely gone, I will use the sleek foundation again and see if it was that. But I wanted to point that out because this does have algae in it, and I saw on the Facebook comments talking about this. One girl said that she had breakouts from algae, and that algae was in a lot of their products, and it's definitely in their new Marine Hyaluronics, so it's something to be aware of. I can't see anything else that would be irritating, but I didn't know that algae was something that would break people out. Oh, one other thing to tell you is it doesn't pill at all. I found that I didn't find much pilling with hyaluronic acid, but when I did was when I used it with my vitamin E oil. I did find then it pilled a little bit, and I know there are people that find that any hyaluronic acid they use does pill, you know, ball up on your skin, and certainly that doesn't happen with this one. I used this with my vitamin E oil on top the night before last, and it was absolutely fine, no balling up at all. So that might be something that steers you towards this one as a hydrator as opposed to the original. I don't think this one would be a repurchase for me, the Marine Hyaluronics, because firstly I want the one with B5 in, and I just prefer the feeling of the hyaluronic acid. I prefer that sort of silky feeling, and I don't mind that it takes a while to absorb. It's just about personal preference, isn't it? That's everything to tell you about that. I'll tell you what's on my face. I have got on the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation in Desert Beige. You're hearing all sorts of different foundations because, as I said, I'm trying to get through my stash so that I don't just choose the Bare Minerals one, because then the others will probably be gone off. On my eyes is a pigment by LA Splash called Kessel, Kessel. This is the first time I've worn it and I really like it, I have to say. On my lips is, I used the Colourpop lippie stick in She Bad, and then on top I just used some gloss. This is the Clarins Instant Lip Perfector, I think it's called, and what number is this? 01. And on my cheeks is a MAC blush called Petal Power. This top is from Patty Boutique, necklace from Next, earrings from River Island. I think that's you covered. Thank you very much for watching it, and I'll speak to you soon.